Hi, this is Jackie Kong. Today I'm going to show you how to get a perfect white background for your e-commerce photos in just a few clicks. When I first started out in e-commerce, I had a very tough time because Amazon, eBay to a certain extent, and even Lazada, they all required a perfect white background in a square. So nobody taught me how to do it, but I learned it step by step. I started out with GIMP, and now I'm using Photoshop to edit my photos. You need to know that no matter how white the paper you buy to put it as a background, how many lights you put it at whichever angle, you won't get a perfect white background. I've tried it the hard way, trust me. So the easiest way is to use Photoshop to edit your photos out. So let me show you in my screen how I do it for all my e-commerce. Let's get to the screen right now. So to take a good picture, you do not need expensive equipment. You just need a smartphone and a good lighting. If you see behind here, I'm using just the manila cardboard and a office lights. I have one in front of me and one behind me. Just normal white fluorescent or LED lamps will do. You do not need expensive studio equipment. So now let's get into it, how exactly I do it. So you go to your camera, and if you notice, it's just an office setting. I have a manila cardboard in front of me, and I just clip it and make sure it's not too dark. Okay, and then you focus on the particular area that you want and tap it. And then you can increase the lighting if you want, and then you just take the picture. Okay, and you can crop it and save it. Okay, now we transfer the picture over to Photoshop. Okay, now we are in Photoshop. You open up the image that you want to edit and in the Photoshop, and then you go to the Magic Wand tool and you click Magic Wand, and you can select the area, but it doesn't capture much. So you go to Magic Wand again and press select subject. The Photoshop will render and choose the best area to select. If you notice the marching ends on the screen, okay, and you press the Shift Control I, okay, and then you press delete. This will invert the subject and only delete the background. And then you after that you press crop. Go to crop in the tiny square there, and then you make sure it is 1:1 ratio to get the perfect square. You go to image and you press image size, and you resize it to 1000 width and 1000 height, which most e-commerce sites use this. If you don't resize it, if the file will be too big and it may be rejected by most of the e-commerce site. And then you press OK. So there you go, you get the picture perfectly with a white background and a square setting. Okay, let's try another one which is slightly harder. So this, if you notice, is in a office background, and I'm just holding up pieces of clean A4 paper on the background and also underneath and slightly to the side of the product to get a clean white background. So I took the picture and I loaded it up into Photoshop. So first you make sure that your image is unlocked. If we use the first method that I taught you just now, using the magic wand. Sometimes it doesn't capture the spaces well, or if you use even select object, if you notice here that certain parts, that unwanted parts, are selected as well, and you're going to have a tough time. Some tutorials, they will teach you using paintbrush tool, some they were using the eraser tool, but that's perfectly waste of time. Okay, I'm going to teach you a simpler method. So what you do now, you go to polygonal lasso tool and slowly and carefully just drag and click around the product. Okay, if notice I'm being very careful. So you just slowly click around the product. Okay, once the two ends meet, there'll be a matching ends like this, and then you press Shift Ctrl I to invert the image, and then you just press delete. This will get you a transparent background. Okay, and as usual, you go to the crop and make sure it's 1:1 ratio, and we can move the product around if we want, and then you crop it. And then if you want, you can fill a new layer of white and drag the image on top so that you get a perfectly white background. If you want, you can edit the brightness by going to the curve tool near the layers. Okay, and then you can adjust the brightness, and after that you go to edit, go to images, and you go to edit, go to image size, and then you save it as 1000 height and 1000 width, this is the standard for e-commerce, and you can save your product image as a JPEG. So this will make your product now with a perfectly square and white background.